Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Philly Phone Book, a podcast archive. I am your host, Gideon Carroll McDonald, and with me today is a director and actor here in Philadelphia, a wonderful friend of mine. You may know them from their work at UArts with Fun Home as the director. We got MK Prophett in the house.
Hello, hello.
Yay.
Yay.
Hi, MK.
Hi, Gideon.
How are you?
I'm great. It is a season of wonderful art. It is a season of wonderful sun. I'm honestly just very content and happy today.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good answer.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of the sun in a good way. That's nice.
Exactly,
Good on you for that.
It's been very hot, but I like to say whenever I step outside in these like 95 to whatever degree days, I feel like a lizard on a sun rock. I like to sunbathe.
Yep.
And I grew up in a very cold place, so it's kind of nice.
Yeah. You soak it all in.
Exactly.
Well, let's get started. I know you pretty well, I would say, but not everybody listening may. So why don't we use this first bit of the episode to introduce you, who you are, what you do, where you're from, and how you got into this industry.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, my name is MK Prophett. Full name is McKayla. Some of you might know me as that. I use they, she pronouns. And I originally was born in Brunswick, Maine, very small town on the mid coast of Maine, very, very isolated from a lot of the outside world. We have a little saying in Maine that kind of came about in like the mid 2000s. That's like Maine is 7 years or 10 years behind every trend. So like as soon as like flossing became a thing, it was like it's just picking up in Maine right now.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
things like that. We are not very modern. We are very old timey and rugged and kind of isolated people.
Shout out any listeners in Maine.
Yeah.
If I got any audience in Maine,
Well,
shout out.
Shout out. I know my
Thank
mom
you.
will probably listen to this, so you got at least one.
Hello, your mom.
Hi, Shelly. Love you. But yeah, a good segue actually. My mom is the reason that I got into theater in the first place. So my mom in college did a lot of theater. She was not a theater major, but she always really valued the community that theater has and the storytelling ability and its like ability to connect with the people that it's shown to. So she put me and my older brother, shout out Cam, into a local youth theater production of A Christmas Carol when I was 6.
Whoa.
I played little Paige or little Fan. It was Scrooge's younger sister.
Scrooge has a younger sister?
Scrooge has a younger sister, yeah. And there's a whole little moment about it. I don't know. I played a little sister of Scrooge.
Is that in the musical version?
Yes, it was the musical version. Yeah, so I started doing that.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. We did it as a family, so it was me, my mom, and my brother all in it. And that's just kind of the way it was from then on. We never really stopped doing shows. We were doing shows as a family really until I was 15 or 16. Yeah, me, my mom, and my brother have been doing this together for a very long time. And so we did that one show with a production company called Mid-Coast Youth Theater, and then we just kind of kept doing it. They did 2 main stages and 1 summer show for each age range during the summer, so we were doing like at least 3 shows a year.
Dang.
Yeah, most of them were like I don't remember a lot of them because I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
But I remember how much fun it was, and I remember how much I loved the like adults and teenagers who were doing it above me that I'm like, wow, I hope I can be in like the featured dance ensemble someday. Or like I would watch our director or whoever was directing the show at the time and be like, whoa, like everyone in the room is listening so intently to this person and what they have to say. Like, what a fun job. And so I never really stopped doing theater since then. It was like 4 or 5 shows a year that we would do.
Wow.
Throughout different shows and theater companies throughout Mid-Coast Maine.
That's a hefty amount of work at such a young age.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was really intense at times because the rehearsal schedule for a lot of them either intersected or were like one starts right after the other ends. So a lot of my like I wasn't a sports kid. I didn't do any other extracurriculars. I was either in the dance studio or at rehearsal all
Mhm.
the time.
Yeah.
So didn't really get much of like the leisureliness that comes with childhood, but I really appreciate like just being able to be so immersed in it from such a young age,
Oh, for
because I also
sure.
went to a performing arts high school, so this kind of morphed into a more serious love in middle school, and I was thinking like there's no other choice for me to do this.
Yeah.
Like I can't do anything else as a job besides this. And I've known that from a very young age.
Was performing arts high school like the goal?
Yeah, so it kind of just fell into my lap, honestly,
Okay.
because Maine is a very remote state, and it just so happened that the first performing arts high school in Maine opened as I was in during the summer between my eighth grade year and my freshman year.
Oh, whoa. So you
Yes,
were like ground floor
I was the
class.
first class of that kind of rickety school, I guess, because we were all just trying to make it work. It was a charter school. It wasn't very well funded.
Gotcha.
But we did some really intriguing work. Shout out Jerry Pitcher. She basically ran that high school theater program. I think it was more of a social experiment to see how far she could push high schoolers, because we were studying Meisner, we were studying Stanislavski, Grotowski,
Whoa.
all of these like pretty high level like collegiate theater techniques
Yep.
as like well 14, 15-year olds who I think we got it pretty well at the time, and I
Whoa.
attribute a lot of what I know now to the work that we did back then, because we also didn't do any like pre-written shows. It was all like nothing published. It was all student written, student devised, student
Really?
managed, student directed. Yeah, that's how I got into directing. Actually, there was a directing one class that she started offering in my sophomore year, and we learned like moment work by Tectonic Theater Company. We touched on viewpoints. We did a lot of work like training the director, which I don't think a lot of people realize that it's a very different art form. I know a lot of people like there's kind of the trope of like the actor who got too old to be cast in the roles that they want, so they become a director.
Yeah.
But it is very much its own singular art form that I could talk for a while about,
And we will.
and we will. Oh, thank God. But yeah, performing arts high school was crazy. It was amazing. It was it was surreal at times, but I'm really happy that I got to do it. I know that there aren't a lot of people who have that
Mhm.
opportunity. A lot of people just have to, do regular school and then theater and rehearsals outside of class.
Yeah.
So I'm really thankful that I got to focus the energy that I had during the day on that.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
once I was there, I kind of was locked into like, this is what I want to be. I want to be in New York. Which no, I don't want to be in New York anymore, but we can talk about that too.
Excellent segue. Yes.
Yeah. So now I'm in Philly. The reason that I came down here originally is because my brother Cam was an acting major at Arcadia University in Glenside, Pennsylvania, which is just a little stone's
Yeah.
throw from the city.
Shout out Arcadia.
Shout
Your
out Arcadia.
campus is a castle.
It is a castle. I saw
It's so cool.
my brother acted in a production of Hedda Gabler that was set inside the castle, and we like moved rooms. It was really,
Whoa.
really good.
Oh, that's so sick.
But yeah, my brother lived down here. I have a very strong emotional tie to my family, so it was definitely part of what influenced my decision to come down here.
Cool. Yeah.
I would be near my brother. It means my mom would visit me more. We're about 6 or 7 hours away from my hometown right now,
Hmm.
which I didn't even think I would get this far. I thought in like middle school, high school, maybe I would move to Boston, be like 2 hours from my folks.
Yeah.
Um, but I ended up a lot farther away than I thought I would, which has its upsides and its downsides. The biggest upside absolutely being the theater community that is in Philly. Being in Philly has changed the course of my life so intensely,
Right.
because I had all of these plans of being on Broadway, and I was very much like a musical theater girly for a very long time. I mean,
I mean, you were in such a rigorous program.
yeah,
Like that happens.
it
Everyone talks about this sort of cookie cutter mold that, especially with performing arts schools, like for high schools in particular, a lot of the times that's what their goal is.
yeah.
I'm sure there are in cases where they are just training artists to be artists. I mean, I could attest with my performing arts school, which wasn't necessarily like built to be you're going to leave as a well-rounded performer, but moreover, if you want to specialize in vocal training, that was really our big thing.
Oh.
Like we did a lot of choir. Like that was what our school
Mm.
was really big for. It was choir, and then our on stage shows, like
Right.
our big musicals. But people would still leave because we'd have these master classes, and like people would come in and we'd do our thing, talking about the Broadway dream and how that was clearly what we had to do. And so, a lot of the cases people don't end up in Philadelphia when
No.
that happens. It's like you're on track, you're flying towards New York, and then something bats you towards here, and then you're
Exactly.
here. But that's always a boon. It's a good thing from everyone that I've talked to, at least.
Yeah. It has been such a treat to be here and to realize that this is where I want to spend my life. It's so very different than New York. And
For sure.
I think the New York dream kind of ate at me for a while, but seeing Philly and seeing the kind of work that is created here that is not just to make money, is not just to put a reality TV star on stage. It is to tell the stories of the people that are in this community and the people that it's being presented to. And it is so much more fulfilling to me to do that type of work because I think that theater is one of the biggest and greatest tools we have for social change and like garnering empathy for experiences that you don't have yourself like as a human yet.
Yep.
So I think that Philly is an awesome place to just tell stories because people are so receptive and people are so willing to see things that are out of the box and aren't just,
That's true.
seeing someone do some time steps.
And I think we were fostered to appreciate that work even more with our time at University of the Arts.
Yeah. I like to say that I think that the performing arts high school I went to was like a mini version of UArts.
Okay, yeah.
Where, because UArts had Equinox, UArts had Polyphone, we were
Mhm.
constantly doing new work, things that were developed by playwrights in our DPP program. We were constantly doing new stuff. And everyone was focused on the collaboration of creating said something rather than, oh, I need to make sure that my leg is kicking my face when I do the spot ma,
Yeah.
or like focused on, I guess one could call those things a little bit more superficial versus the process of creating something and having it all mean something to us and the people that see it versus just entertainment.
And working the collaboration muscle. Like that is so pivotal to
Yeah.
making art happen
Yeah.
in a theatrical setting. And, I think a lot of people, especially outside of the work itself, see it and they're like, well, yes, those actors are great.
Yeah.
There's a lot more stuff going on behind the scenes, as you know, as a director.
Yeah.
And you spent time at UArts as a directing, playwriting, and programming. No, not programming.
I program computers, everyone.
Directing, playwriting, and
Producing. Yeah.
Sorry, yes. You spent time at UArts as a DPP, directing, playwriting, and producing major, which was a major that not a lot of schools had.
It was the only program that existed like that.
Oh
And that
boy.
which was really unfortunate because I knew people who were admitted to the DPP program the year that UArts announced it was closing.
Yeah.
I knew people that were going to go to that program specifically because I was having such a great time and I was learning so much
Oh,
and I was
wow.
becoming such a great artist. So yeah, it's really unfortunate. The only thing I can really think of that is anything close to it is Pace's experimental theater program, where
Gotcha.
even then it's not focused on being on the other side of the table as much. It's more about having ideas that are non-conventional and finding ways to make that work, which I think UArts did a little bit of.
For sure.
But I also think that UArts' bread and butter was really the collaboration. And I think that even though UArts didn't do a great job of collaborating across schools, like with the multimedia
Agreed.
type and like music collaborating with art, I think that the specific majors within the Ira Brand School of Theater Arts, it was like a well-oiled machine.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mini theater company.
It was.
It was insane.
Here's
And
our well of actors. Here's our well of musical theater performers. Here's our well of dancers and directors and playwrights and stage managers and designers. Like, it was crazy. We had so many people. We had a dedicated handful of like light designers.
Yeah.
Like that's such a thing. That's such a unique thing to a school
Mhm.
to be able to like put on a show and have everyone at their disposal. Like be
Yeah.
like, look at all these people that are dedicating their life to this now.
Yeah. Who
Yeah.
are dedicating their life to this now, and it was feasible to create an entire production team of just people who were undergraduates at that school. You
Yep.
had someone for everything.
Hmm.
And everyone, even within those specific, like, oh, I'm a lighting designer, I'm a sound designer, each one of them had their own specific styles, their niches, the things that they could only do, and their specific styles of those things. And so it kind of was like you could have created a group of people to produce really any type of show
Yep.
at that school. And I miss it so tenderly.
Yeah. That came with also its size.
Yeah.
It was such a small program
Yeah.
that everyone knew everyone. Like, I don't think there was necessarily a face in the Bryn School that wasn't recognizable by majority. And really, the only time that you don't know people is when they're first years, like
Yeah.
first few weeks of being a first year. And then it's the occasional first years that get to do stuff. And then it's like, then you meet everyone. And then it's like you were saying, everyone had their own unique approach to the work, no matter their art form. And so casting things and collecting a team, and I'm sure you, being in the DPP program and putting on shows, were involved in this heavily. But
Yeah.
I would imagine because of how small the school was, you knew who you wanted,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Like if you like, you know which stage manager you want because you know how they work specifically. You know which co-director you want because that you know how they work specifically. Like, that kind of thing is so unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something that I think, unfortunately, with the disbursement of a lot of UArts humans, has kind of fallen through the cracks. Even though
Yeah.
I know a lot of us were like, and not even systematically, this university shutting down, like this cannot pull us apart. Even though, it has a
It
little bit,
it
and that
it
is
did.
really sad. And I wish that we all had a cumulative space that we could go to and just do art together like it was. Like I wish
Yeah.
there was someone should start a UArts theater company or something like that with just a bunch of
I mean, I
us.
do think that the yeah, not to talk too much about it, but I do think the Bach
Yeah.
purchasing Hamilton,
Oh, do you
Hamilton
mean Scout?
Hall, Scout.
Yeah,
Yes,
Scout.
Scout owns the Bach building.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh, okay. That
I'm
makes
almost
so
certain
much
they
more.
are. Fern fact check me on that, but I do trust what that space is going to turn into, and I
Yeah.
really do think that it will always be rooted in the UArts community,
Yeah.
which then could potentially lead to future projects. And yeah, I'm hopeful for that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think
you know,
specifically the part of that that really excites me, the Scout project with Hamilton Hall, is the fact that it is also going to include subsidized housing for
yeah,
artists.
I saw that in Furness.
Yeah, I think it's immaculate. I think it's immaculate to be able to create where you live and
Mhm.
to live with other people who are also creatives. Like
Yeah,
that is something that I think was really unique specifically about UArts. Like I never lived on campus, but the people who I know that did had such a fun time. They created art in their like off hours all of the time, just
yeah,
silly little projects.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, you
Having
lived
been an
on
RA, I
campus.
mean, I got to see so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
I mean, there were clubs and projects and activities and events happening all the time.
Yeah.
I would go to Hamilton for dinner because I lived in Furness while I was an RA. So I would walk to Manja, which was our dining hall at the time. I would get food and I would eat with my friends who were just around on campus on the steps in Hamilton Hall. And more often than not, in the grand hall floor space would be dance majors just creating a piece.
Yeah, just doing it.
They were just playing loud music and like going nuts
Yeah.
and just like expressing themselves physically in like 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. And it was like that was awesome. Like that was so sick. It
That's
was such
so
a
sick.
cool little aspect
Yeah.
of the community.
And so I hope that Scout continues that kind of tradition of spontaneity in
Yeah.
art that UArts kind
Yep.
of, I think, embodied a lot, the spontaneity of art and like the, I guess, intrusive thoughts that come to artists. Just
Yeah. Being encouraged to follow them.
exactly.
Yeah. Did you know about UArts before? Because you said you made the move to Philadelphia thanks to your brother and
Yeah.
your family kind of shifting.
Yeah.
UArts was on your radar while you were making the college decision? Like, was that your
Yeah.
go-to, or were you looking for other places?
Yeah, UArts was actually second on my list because I really enjoyed how small it was.
Yeah.
Student to teacher ratio was something that was really, really important to me because
Mm,
there is not a bigger ick to me as a neurodivergent actor than being in a class with 30 other people and getting to perform my monologue once, throughout an entire semester acting studio. Which, I mean, I don't know if that actually happens at bigger places, but I really just wanted to have that one on one time because I think that's how artists grow the best.
yep.
And just having that hands on work. Carnegie Mellon was my top choice, as many musical
Yeah.
theater
Yeah.
girlies can attest to.
Fair point.
Yeah, and the college audition process. Oh wow, yeah.
Oh boy.
Hoo boy. I was in Chicago for Unifieds while the first case of COVID was actively being diagnosed in the US.
Whoa.
And I remember people wearing masks in the airport and I was like, I wonder what's going on. And then 2 weeks
Ruh-roh.
later, the world shut down, which thank God I had already auditioned and been accepted for to UArts by that point. I
Oh wow,
auditioned
cool.
in
Yeah.
December, got an answer within 2 weeks. And then Unifieds was kind of just like to have fun.
Yeah.
Because
fair.
I had gotten into my second choice school. But yeah, UArts really appealed to me because it was basically a higher functioning version of my charter school,
Yeah.
performing arts school. I really liked how much new work they did. I loved how warm everyone was when I went and visited. I did one of those trial tour days where they let you like sit in on classes and everyone seemed so engaged. No one had their phones out. Like
Yeah.
everyone was so happy to be there and like enjoyed the work that they were doing in class, which was very different from when I toured Marymount Manhattan, when I toured NYU, all of these places that have thousands and thousands of kids going there.
Yep.
They all just kind of looked like they had a glaze over their eyes. Like they were just going through the motions of it instead of being active, being present in the moment and creating art with the other people that you are in the room with.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Awesome.
yeah, UArts really, I think it's kind of was destined and meant to be that I got there.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful to have been the last graduating class and not having to deal with any of the stuff that you guys have had to deal with as transfers in class of 2025.
Why, yes. Yes.
You are so strong. You are God's bravest soldier.
It was difficult, yes.
Yeah.
I take that experience and I've learned from it, and I've talked about it a little bit already. But I do think that it was at least eye-opening to see another program and
Yeah.
to see how they work.
Yeah.
And meet those people and get those connections. And I'm very thankful for Temple for what they did for me and for my cohort.
Shout out Temple.
Shout out Temple. Yeah.
Go Owls.
Go Owls. Hoot.
Hoot. I almost
Hoot,
said
hoot.
scree. That's not what an
Scree.
owl
I mean,
says.
they also scree.
Well, thank God.
I'm almost certain owls also scree. Because they... Yeah.
Yeah.
You just can't hear them while they fly.
Exactly. They're quiet guys.
They're quiet. Because they're really quiet. Yeah. But yeah, it was not my choice. But hey, we're done.
Hey.
And now we're just making art. We're just doing the thing.
And that post-grad life, like even just the difference between seeing you while we were doing and rehearsing that French play.
French play. Here it is. French
Here
play.
it is. French play. Just like the difference in like your buoyancy and like the light behind your eyes is very different, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I think that had a lot to do with being a senior in a place that made you feel like a freshman, and so
Yeah.
it's just a weird.
And it was not a place that you chose.
No, I did. I mean,
Well, in some semblance
I had
of
a
a way.
choice of where I ended up, where I wanted to end up, but yeah, we here now, we rocking out.
And frick it, we ball.
Forget we ball, and we met at UArts.
Yeah, we did. I actually One of the first, can I share one of the first things I remember about you?
Oh, please.
I am so sure that we had met before this. However, when I'm thinking about like early U Arts days, early friendships with like you, Fern, shout out, baby, love you, and your kind of whole cohort of people. I remember after you saw Fun Home, I didn't really know you, but you gave no. And when I think about this, I get really emotional because you just gave me like a very long, very deep breath crying hug. And
yes, I did.
I had no idea that the stories that I create with the people around me could do that to people.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
really, I don't know. I really
Oh.
loved seeing how that landed specifically with you because your partner Fern was in the show and it
Yes.
was very I mean, I've had partners who have been in theater before as well, and it's very different watching your partner do a role versus seeing a stranger do a role.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in a show like that is so gut wrenchingly emotional and
Yeah.
sometimes prevalent,
Personal and
personal.
yeah.
Yeah. It, yeah, that's one of the first things I remember about you. And one of the things that made me realize that Fun Home was a success.
Mm.
Because in my brain, in order for a show to succeed, it needs to have changed something about the people who view it. It needs to be something that people will take into the rest of their lives. I really like to think about the theater that I create as either a mirror or a window.
Oh
So it's
wow.
either a window to an experience that you haven't had yet, something you hadn't considered, something you might not be able to comprehend without going to a live show, seeing someone actually go through it in front of you,
Mm.
or a mirror to your own experience. You can point at a person in a show and say, "Hey, that's happened to me. Hey, I am kind of this guy. Like, how cool is it to have something so personal and part of yourself, like exemplified on stage, even if it's not a one for one match to someone?" I think that that's what I want people to be walking away from my shows feeling. And so when I did have these conversations with people after Fun Home, being like, oh yeah, and like I came out to my parents afterwards, or like, oh, it made me empathize with someone that I love so much more intensely and personally and way more in like way more detail. That's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
that's everything I want to do. What a blessing to be able to do that. And what like a cool job to have where I get to see that. Ugh, I love theater.
Theater's so cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah, that was a visceral experience for me.
Yeah.
I did not expect to to cry as hard as I did. I remember I think by I don't even remember when, but at a certain point in the second half of the show, I don't think I stopped. I think it was just consistent because things
Yeah.
keep
Well,
happening.
with that show specifically, it's like a ladder. It's
It really
not
is,
like
yeah.
pulling taffy or like a roller coaster in a way that it goes up and down and up and down. It really is just climbing, climbing up,
Yeah.
and
And
then
then
you're soaring. Like
yep.
that's the whole thing. Like it doesn't ever crash back. I mean, I don't think it crashes back down to the
No.
ground. Like it
It
just
halts.
it halts.
It stops,
Absolutely.
but it doesn't go back.
No, it doesn't go back to where it began, which is also why the show intrigued me so much.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Lovely. Before we continue into more of your art and process and what makes you tick when it
Mm.
comes to what you want to make, I wanted to ask with your time in Philly now, having both done college here and now just living here post grad and getting to experience the art community outside of a collegiate view, what was a lesson that Philadelphia has taught you during your time here? Because I think it's a very rich city. I think a lot of stuff is going on, and I think every experience can be had here.
Yes.
And so I guess I'm just wanting to know, like, how has it impacted you as a creative?
Yeah. And I know this might seem counterintuitive, but it has made me fear people less.
Hmm.
And I know that might sound a little different from someone moving from an incredibly rural area to an area that has many people, that has many different types of people. It has made me I mean, specifically with my art, trust people more and value other people more. I think other people are the best part of life, and that is what Philly has taught me.
Mm,
Because I think most of the best moments in the shows that I have a hand in creating come from other people. Like, it's an amalgamation of ideas. It's a layering of what if we did this? What if, and then what if, like a yes and, but what if we also layered this on top of it? And then it's like, this idea gets through so many lenses of different backgrounds and people who come from vastly different places that it becomes universally empathetic. It becomes universally understandable by anyone who comes to see this or whatever we're making at the time. I also think that in more of a like social cultural way, it has made me value other people more because I was a very nervous kid. I
mm,
was always very nervous. I've had very bad anxiety my entire life, and I've always valued what other people think of me so much.
gotcha. Yeah.
And I think that, just kind of to extend on like Philly teaching me the lesson about like valuing and trusting other people, it also has made me realize that other people are not what they think about me. Like
Mm,
I
yeah.
because I was so upset like in high school and in middle school. And I think that this career particularly breeds those kinds of thought processes
That is true.
because a lot of what we do is based on impressions you make on people and on those first 30 seconds where they, hear you sing, like belt out 8 bars and then leave. Like you have to
Yeah.
be like, but like me. And I think that socially, culturally in Philly, no one cares.
That's true.
It
Yeah.
is so freeing to see, like, I don't know. As a young lesbian growing up in Maine, I didn't see people walking around holding their girlfriend's hands or like walking around wearing something different than what everyone around them was wearing.
Mm.
But now I don't think I've ever seen like the same outfit twice in Philly. Like, it is a magical
Oh,
place.
yeah.
It is, I don't know. And I feel the difference in how I present myself, even now traveling between Maine and Philly. Like, when I go to Maine, when I visit my folks, I feel a little bit more reserved. I feel a little bit more like conscious of how I look, how I'm speaking,
Mm.
what I am doing. But in Philly, I think that people very intensely take you as you are and with whatever context you may be bringing. And I think that that's something that is sorely missing in Maine, mostly because of we have no semblance of any kind of community up there, and what we do has been long and hard fought for, because it's 25 degrees 8 to 9 months out of the year. Everything is so far away. Like, you can't just go walk to your friend's house. You take a 25-minute drive to see your friend,
Mm.
and then you don't have energy to gather with anyone else. And so I think that the community down here has just been so life altering in so many personal, artistic, cultural ways that
Yeah.
I will never leave here. I think I love it here way too
Yay.
much.
We gotcha.
Caught.
Yeah. I do think that to your point, and I guess I haven't put this into words in that way, but Philly has confidence.
Yes.
Like that is something that comes with a walkable city
Hmm.
and a very tight knit culture and
Mm.
community. I mean, Philly's known for its like sports culture and its arts culture and its LGBTQ plus community. Like it is truly so aware of itself that people are just walking around as they are,
Yeah,
and that confidence rubs off on you. It really does.
it does.
And so like growing up here, you learn the social cues and the dynamics that people are bringing out into the world, and they are a lot more carefree. Because I think with New York, in the moments I visited, right, people are walking with their head forward or down, and they're just going.
Yeah,
They are making their way to their next stop.
they have a freaking mission.
They do. Everybody's got a mission.
Yeah,
You're getting somewhere because that city's big and loud and full of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. And then here, I think that people enjoy the walk a little bit more,
they do.
which is really nice.
They're looking up, they're looking out,
Mm-hmm.
they're connecting with people around them. Like in New York, whenever I visited, which I did a lot for college auditions and tours and things, you could not catch anyone dead having a conversation on the subway with someone they don't know. Like, I
Yeah.
never saw that. But even like, I don't know, I was on a bus last week and I struck up like a 15-minute conversation with this man who was just sitting next to me. And he was like, yeah, I work at the Man Center. Like, if you ever want to come see a show, tell him that Jimmy sent you. And I was like, you know what? I will. And that's a
Shout out,
conversation.
Jimmy.
Shout out Jimmy wherever you are. He told me that his wife makes waist beads and he
Oh.
tried to give me her number, but I lost it because I forgot to send the like initial. I put her number in to like send a message and then I forgot to send a message. So, Jimmy, if your wife is still making waist beads, I'll buy some.
I think that interaction alone
Yeah, like I
captures
could
everything we're saying.
exactly. I could write a play about that moment. It is
Yeah.
everything. Everyone is just very present and grounded, and it is very. I think confident really is the word that I'm going to use moving forward to talk about Philly
Yeah.
because, in contrast, Maine is very, very timid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are hardy, but we are timid. We do not speak up. We do not speak out about a lot of things. So being in Philly in a place where everyone be doing that all the time,
Especially right now
in
this
is
political
crucial.
climate.
Yeah. And that is like, as theater artists, should be our job right now,
Literally,
is
yeah.
speaking up and speaking out. Like, the fact that there are productions of $1 million quartets still going on instead of stories that
Mm.
are poignant and hard hitting and making people think and are presented to the community for a reason. The why this play, why now has really been lost in our
Yeah.
theatrical culture by the way of needing to make money.
Give us more Rent, not more Jersey Boys.
Give us more American Idiot, not more $1 Million Quartet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I
Give
know
us
that
new work.
yeah, give us new work.
Give us new stuff.
Give us
the Wilma.
Give us the Wilma. Give us Krista
Mhm.
Apple.
Boom,
in
Krista Apple
Summer
mentioned. I
Day.
gotta have like a Krista Apple counter
Yes.
on this podcast because I think she's been brought up by like almost every guest.
I love her.
Or at least every theater guest I've had.
She changed the way that I think about theater. Even I didn't take class with her. We went to London with her.
We did.
We went to London. I forgot we
both
went to London together.
Yay. That was fun.
That seems like a million years ago.
Because it kind of was.
It really was. It was 2024.
Yeah, it was only January of last year, but it
feels like a long time.
Like a long time.
But that also was like, I'm looking at the kin thing that you have. I'm looking at the posters that Gideon has from that trip on the wall
I
now.
have the National Theater's playbill for Kin, which was a gorgeous show. Which was about immigration.
Yeah.
And this like beautiful movement puppetry piece.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous. And then tickets to Fair Maid of the West at Stratford upon Avon.
At Royal Shakespeare Company.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
And that show.
Oh, and we were front row, baby.
Yeah,
that was
were.
insane. I think something that trip taught me was that in the United States, we do not treat theater as a pillar of our culture. We treat it as a pillar of entertainment, even if it could be considered a pillar of entertainment in the US. And I think that if it was more ingrained to our culture versus just going to see some pretty girls in pretty costumes dancing, I think that we would have a very different theater scene going on. Because you think about the origins of a lot of modern theater is Shakespeare. The origins of a lot of like the way that we do things, like with the script and the rehearsals, and a lot of that was like developed in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And so they hold it very close to their hearts, and that is a wish that I have for the United States, but I do not know if we will ever get there.
Definitely not with this administration.
Hell no.
Hell no. God damn it.
God damn it. And I could talk about that. Hey, if we want to get into that, I could talk about that.
It may come up naturally again.
Exactly.
I couldn't agree more. MK, I couldn't agree more. And to the heart of that, we got to make more stuff.
We got to make more stuff.
And so with that, I wanted to really deep dive into MK as a director and as a
Yeah.
performer, if you'd like to talk about that as well.
It's less of what I do now.
It is less. That's true. You have before.
Yes.
And you're still open to it?
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I haven't been auditioning as much recently because I really think that my skill set is more useful as a director.
Awesome. Yeah. So, with that, I want to know, what is being a director? Like, why has that stuck with you?
Yeah.
And we've talked about it even a little bit, but who do you want to do this for?
Mm.
And, what kind of art and shows and stories are the stories worth telling for you?
Yeah.
Like, how do you pick things? What do you want to do? Across the I could
Yeah.
go on. I would just love to hear and pick your brain
Yeah.
about being a director, because
Yeah.
I'm not that.
It's a very cool thing to be a director. I think specifically it's a very cool thing to be a director. um I the way that I think about directing starts at seeing an unmet need in a community. Whether that be like the reason I chose Fun Home to do as my senior thesis at UArts is because I saw the community I would be presenting it to. I saw, I mean, a majority of UArts students were queer in some way. And we were coming of age in such a confusing time to be a queer person. Like a lot of us, I mean, I know it really wasn't that long ago, but a lot of us knew we were gay before gay marriage was legalized in this country. At least I was.
Yeah.
And so I think that I look at a community or I look at where I am and I look at needs that have to be met. Like I need to see someone maybe a little bit older than me who is in the, sorry, I'm speaking on Allison in Fun Home right now if you don't know the story.
Fun Home by Alison Bechtel.
Yes.
Gorgeous piece.
Gorgeous, gorgeous piece. It's about Alison Bechtel, who is a lesbian, kind of taking inventory of her childhood and her relationship with her father, who was a gay man. And I saw a lot of people who were in their young adult life discovering that they were queer, discovering that they were non-binary, discovering all of these things about themselves, but didn't have examples of older queer people who have made it to a place that they love themselves or that they are confident in themselves or that they are so sure of this is who they are that they need to write a graphic novel about it or write a graphic novel including it. Yeah, I think that that's what I look for when I'm picking a show, if I know like the community that I'm going to be presenting it to. Other than that, I like to look at like nationwide needs, things that are currently going on,
Yeah.
things that are speaking to, I mean, specifically the queer struggle has been my niche so far because I think that that's what I relate to most about like going through hard times. Mental health is also something that I'm really interested in exploring via live theatrical productions. And so, yeah. And I think that to your question of just like what is directing, I view myself really as a siphon for ideas in the rehearsal room. I come into a show that I'm doing with, of course, ideas, of course, a production concept, and of course, a why is this play important and why are we doing it right now? Why this play, why now is maybe the shorthand version of it that you have heard. Um, and I really like to, once I'm in the room with actors, even with designers, I really like other people are a key role in my process because I really view myself as a siphon for other people's ideas and how to hear the the group's consensus of what we want to say and all of these like particular maybe personal stories that come out about why you want to do that or personal ideas or like I think it would be cool if we did this, hearing all of those and kind of putting it in through like the siphon that is my brain, and then I can kind of put it out onto stage in a way that makes sense to people and
Mm.
is kind of like an amalgamation of all of the ideas. I'm the ideas man, if you will.
The idea wrangler.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
a
yeah.
little lasso. I rein them in like it's a rodeo. um so yeah, that's like also my favorite part about directing is just being able to hear other people's ideas. Like I will say, Fern, your collaboration in Fun Home. Wait, do they know that Fern was in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fern Morehouse.
Yeah.
As you know, listeners know, was young Allison in this
Yeah.
production of Fun Home.
Yeah. And they were amazing, and their contributions to the rehearsal room, I think like they were specifically the artists that made me realize, oh, I am a siphon. Oh, I can absorb these ideas really well and put them onto stage in a functional and like empathetic way that the people watching it who gave the idea will understand, and also the people who didn't come up with the idea will understand.
Yeah.
Because they just gave and gave and gave. They were so active in both listening and speaking and bouncing off what other people were saying and bouncing off of what I was saying, and it was very nice to honestly be in a room full of people like that, because I think that other people in the cast were a little less, maybe a little less collaborative than Fern. Fern definitely was the person who spoke up the most about the ideas that they had, but everyone in that room really just put all of themselves out there.
Yeah.
which also makes people more invested in the piece when you have personal stake in what is happening on stage. When you see your ideas taken by, the lighting designer or the sound designer, you're like, whoa, that's my idea. That's so cool. My personal stakes in this show are now that much higher. So I want to do a good job and I want to make this the best piece that I can. And it just makes the investment so much more personal for everyone involved, because it's truly everyone's piece. Like, I cannot stand dictator type directors. I think that is so antithetical to everything that theater is supposed to be. Like, I do not understand directors that come into the first day of rehearsal with all of their blocking planned out, all of their beats, all of the moments that they want, everything is designed, color palette is chosen. Like, you don't want anyone else's ideas on that? Like, are you sure?
Yeah, it's very fascinating.
It is fascinating. And I think that we have had some shared experiences that can speak towards that.
Yes.
And it makes a process arduous. It really does.
Especially as actors who need to put trust in the director.
Yep.
I think having worked with many at this point that I admire greatly, I learn that you will have the best experience as an actor and a conduit for this story, and understanding your character and working with your team and especially working with your cast, if you have trust in the director.
Yep.
If you trust their vision, if you trust that they'll take everything you say to heart.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, like having this idea wrangler, like someone that is ready to listen and agree or constructively disagree. Like, that is useful and so necessary, because I want to feel like I'm helping.
Yes.
Right? I want to feel like I'm making this easy for everyone.
Right.
And so when a director has no desire to collaborate or listen
or hold space for anyone's ideas other than their own,
it's really difficult. It makes the job hard, and it makes enjoyment hard, because I honestly think that the only way you can make good theater is if you enjoy it.
Yes, absolutely. And I think if you enjoy it and if you believe in it.
Yeah.
Like, there is some, you just gotta believe.
You just gotta believe and commit. 100%.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that commitment is easier to get when people have personal stakes in the show that they are producing.
That's true. That's true.
Very, very true.
Yeah. I want you to direct me.
I want to direct you so bad. Sorry, that just made me need to eat this microphone because of how bad I want to direct you. I want to direct you so bad because you are a very collaborative actor. I'm so happy that we got the chance to act together in a piece, even though it was a little arduous at times.
This was the play of our theater company.
Oh, yes, this was.
You may have heard this from the episode with Nate Miles McLean, and it was a new piece by a wonderful woman
Yes.
Janet Fishman.
She was amazing.
And it just, sometimes with a show that doesn't have all the tools, the final piece falls apart a little quicker.
Yes, and the people holding all of the ropes together have to hold on so much tighter and get so much more tired because there were not enough bodies to produce, or there were not enough brains or really anyone on the team other than Janet, and so she had to do 10 times more work than a normal like one tracked person, which also meant that a lot of it fell on us and a lot of it went undone, and a lot of it sometimes felt a little sketchy. I don't know if Nate talked about, how much did Nate talk about?
We barely touched it.
Okay, so they definitely haven't heard this. There were a few moments in that rehearsal process that really exemplified, at least in my brain, the need specifically, and shout out if you are one, for intimacy coordinators and
So
the
true.
like working in theater. Because the track that I had played really sorely needed an intimacy director.
Yeah.
And being an older theater maker, I don't think Janet really took that to heart, understood why, or really cared.
Yeah, it doesn't have the knowledge of why that's important.
Yeah.
And I think that is why the younger, new generation of theater makers that are very prominent here in Philadelphia care a lot about intimacy coordination. Like, it is. I mean, one, gotta hand it to UArts for having intimacy coordination pretty often in the room.
Yeah.
And teaching us those basics, like giving us the language and the tools to approach that. Because and I think I'd love to hear your thoughts on how important that is as a director, because that allows more communication, right? But through a voice that is more specialized, I would say. Yeah.
I think that specifically as a director, I honestly think it means more to me as a director versus an actor having an intimacy director and coordinator in the room, because I think that there are some inherent power levels that come with being a director. And although I am someone who is actively trying to break down that inherent hierarchical structure, and although I'm someone who is actively trying to break down that hierarchical structure that comes with directing, I think that it's not always the most comfortable to just tell someone now kiss. Hey, you kiss.
Kiss for me.
It needs to be mathematical in a way. It needs to be formulaic. It needs to be brought about in a totally, I guess, clinical is a good way that you can say it, way like desexualized, totally clinical, absolutely just movements of the body with permission from the other person. Like, it is incredibly important, and I wish that for the play of our theater company we had one, because I think it could have been so much more
purposeful.
Yeah. And it would have made me dread going to rehearsal a little bit less.
Right.
Because there was a point where it was anxiety inducing to go into rehearsal, because I didn't feel like our director was shaping the space in a way that made me okay with kissing someone else in the cast, with being talked about in such sexual language throughout the entire play, the entire time.
Yeah. It just goes to show, and it's experiences like that will then inform future projects.
Exactly.
And what you want to do. I do wish we acted together more. I feel like our characters did not interact.
I said one line to you the entire time.
Yep. Like, once or twice.
The entire time.
We did not talk.
No, we didn't.
So funny.
It's so funny because the backstory we had created for these characters was like, you were the first one in the troupe, and you were like my son, and like when you left, it was like a piece of my heart being ripped out. But like, we just didn't get a chance to show that. Which, in the future, if I step back onto the stage, I would love to act with you sometime. Of course. I'd love to do a Shakespeare with you.
Ooh.
I think that'd be fun.
That would be fun. I love Shakespeare.
Yeah. As You Like It. I can see you in that. I can see you as, oh God, the dude that goes, sweet Phoebe. I forget his name. Fern. Fern fact check.
I don't have that in my brain either, but.
Editor's note, that character is named Sylvius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting stuff.
It is. And I am excited that coming up, I am working on a project that includes an intimacy director. And that is something that has been figured out even before auditions happen, which is
Love that.
very proactive,
Yeah.
very great.
Very great.
Very great.
I would love to pick your brain a little also about how you approach new work as a director. Because like you were
Yeah.
saying, your high school had a lot of experience with this, but like we also had mentioned, UArts was very particular when it came to giving students opportunities to work with new plays and new
Yes.
musicals, and then working with writers, with writers that are coming
Playwrights
in.
in the room.
Yep.
Yeah.
Playwrights that have either never seen these pieces done before, or have, but only in like, basic readings.
Right.
So I would love, one, to know how you approach new work and why that's enticing to you, and two, how it is to collaborate with a writer.
Ooh. Oh, heck yeah. Okay. I think new work is so enticing because it is so fluid, because there are things that can be changed about it. There are things that can be yes anded. There's a human most of the times when you have the playwright in the room, there's a human in the room that you can ask these questions to
Yeah, there's a
without
source.
yeah, there's a source. It's not all assumption based, which I think with a lot of published texts that do that work a little bit more in like the subtext region of things,
Yeah.
there's a lot of assuming to be made. And I really like working on new work because it's stories that haven't been told before. It's things that because I am someone who, like, when I'm directing something that is pre-published, I really try and not watch other productions of it. Like, I'm a read through galley.
Nice.
I vehemently hate, either on purpose or like not on purpose, accidentally doing the same thing as someone else.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I think that, like, if someone, I don't think William Shakespeare wrote Romeo and Juliet to be done the same way over and over and over again. I
Not at
think
all.
that what is great about theater is that everything is new and everything is exciting when it comes to like possibilities that you have available when it comes to producing a play. And I think that with new work, it's even just more readily available, that total creative, well, not total creative freedom, but a lot of creative freedom that does not come with more structured, pre-published pieces that have existed for a long time. Like, maybe their author isn't even alive anymore, so you can't
Right.
contact them and be like, hey, can I change this? Can I gender bend this character? Can I tweak this line so it's more poignant to the community that I'm presenting it
Yeah.
in?
Because you're battling expectation.
Exactly.
If you're, if your local regional theater is doing a production of Streetcar Named Desire,
Yeah.
right? That is a show that's been done countless times.
So many
And
times.
so people have images in their head, especially when they're made into like movies or
Mm-hmm.
like adaptations that are permanent.
Right.
Say, like, if you're going to see Hamilton, you want Hamilton.
Yes.
You want what Hamilton is. Granted, Hamilton's not a published work, so that's a bad example. But even when it comes out, when Hamilton is in the public domain,
Yeah.
and you're not public domain, but once you're able to buy the rights,
Mhm.
people are going to want Hamilton.
Yeah.
But it'll be a wonderful breeding ground for new stuff.
Exactly.
Because, I think, I would hope, like we were saying, this newer generation of theater makers are more open to getting rid of expectation
Yeah.
from known work. And so with new work, you don't have expectation at all.
There's no expectation. And there really isn't any limit to what you can do. I
Yeah.
mean, depending on budgetary constraints, but you can find basically any way to do anything with any amount of money in theater. That is something that I vehemently believe. Like, if there's supposed to be, like, I don't know, freaking talking dog on stage or something, like, you don't, there are so many ways that you could do that. Like, even with, I am doing choreography for a production of SpongeBob the Musical right now, and we have to figure out how to make a growing couch.
Mm.
And it's very fun to, like, think about those possibilities. So with new work, a lot of the time, and a lot of the new work that I have read recently, it's a lot of those like limitless ideas it's kind of like there's so much room to play. There's so much room to collaborate. There's so much shaping that can be done depending on like the specific people that are in the room creating the play.
Yeah.
Like I think that just for an example, that production of Fun Home that I directed is the only time that can ever be what it was. Because if we do it again, you know, in like 20 years and we're all age appropriate to play these roles, like things will have changed. People would have aged out of other roles. Like it's every time you get a different group of people in a rehearsal room, the results are going to be different because everyone comes from such vastly different contexts and everyone's inner world works in such a different way. But yeah, new works. My process with new works involves a lot of improv.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at my high school, what we would do is we would take like entire day practicums and just do different improv exercises on like a given prompt or do research, like group kind of like brain like group like brain process
Brainstorm.
brainstorm, that's the word I was looking
Yeah.
for, thank you. And it was like a good 4 to 5 hours we were just living as these characters, and playwrights were able to see like where the actor's intuition and intrigue goes from like a specific line. Like we would start off with like maybe 3 pages of already or 3 lines of already set dialogue and then just let the actors go from there and see what
Yeah.
comes up.
Cool.
Well, and it's actors who knew the story already and who had read the play, so they had a bit of context to like who these people are, and you just see where their brains go. Because a lot of the time, I feel like just from someone who also writes plays, like a lot of the time, it's not as universal as I want it to be because everyone thinks about things so differently, and
Yep.
it's so that's part of why it's so cool to be a human. But a lot of the time, like things that make sense in my brain and mean this one specific thing in my brain, I can present to someone else and they'll be like, oh, that brings up this thought process for me and that brings up this
Mm-hmm.
specific image. And I'm like, how in the world are you getting that from that? But it's just a way to get more lenses, you know, on a piece and more interest from like a group of people, because I think that with new works, when you do take time to develop them and to workshop them at the beginning of a process, everyone is just going to be that more invested
Right.
because it's so personal. You're putting in so much work. People are listening to your ideas. I think that specifically with actors, like they are hungry to be included in the decision making process for everything, and I do not know why more directors do not take advantage
Right.
of that creative energy, that juice, that power. Like not every, and I there are definitely some actors who are out there to be told what to do and smile, but a lot of the people specifically in Philly that I have met are the opposite of that. They have ideas. They want their ideas to be taken seriously. They want to help grow the piece into something that matters to them as well. That isn't just
Mm.
like putting movement on text and saying it out loud. So yeah, lots of devising with new works. I think that the table read and table work process is extremely crucial to new works, and just getting time where you're not even tempted to add movement, to add anything but just discussion
Yep.
about how the humans that are reading the piece feel and about what they think about their character's experience, what they think about like what this piece is trying to say. I love to pull a classic like teacher on the first day of school with those, you know, those giant pieces of paper that they always would have
Oh.
that had like the easel
Uh-huh.
attached to it.
Yeah.
I tear off a bunch of big pieces of paper, I stick them up around the room, and I ask a lot of questions. Like I write down different questions on big pieces of paper, like why this play, why now? Like it depends on the show, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but just hearing from everyone at that very basic, like what does this mean to me as a human in my thought processes is incredibly important for new work and shaping where it goes.
With then also working with the writer
Mm.
of the show, how do you feel and yeah, how do you feel about taking on their project? Because as much as it is the writer's creation, it then has to be handed off to the director. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
right? Like you are gaining something from both of you, but you need to then hand it off. Like
Yes.
there is clear roles to play there, and I've been in rooms where writers and directors butt heads,
Yeah.
like often.
Yeah.
Because there are either directors that take too much of the reins and don't listen to what the writer has to say because this is their room now, or a writer is too attached to the piece they created and is unable to watch someone else make choices about it.
Yeah.
And so I guess, how does it work for you, and like what do you prioritize with that relationship, which is so unique to a theater space, especially with a new piece,
Yeah.
because you're not able to just sit next to Sondheim and talk to him like you were saying. Like these are people that will have these shows done by other directors at some point,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah. I think it's a very care it's a relationship that people have to put a lot of care into if they want to make it work. And that's why I think a lot of playwright director relationships are strained in the way that someone is asking too much or taking too much and the other person is not receptive to it. I think that when it comes to working with a playwright, directors do need to remember that this is their baby.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a saying at UArts, you got to kill your babies sometimes. But I think that, and by babies, we mean ideas.
Yeah,
And
no,
sometimes
I
you come
know.
up with an idea
I
that you
had heard
really
that.
like,
Yeah.
but then it doesn't fit or it just doesn't work and it's not the time or the piece to do it. And I think that directors too often kill too many playwrights babies in like such a crass way.
Yeah.
But I think that directors too often come in with too rigid of a set of expectations for what they think the play is going to turn out to be.
Mm,
You can do that with preset work. You can go into a production of Anything Goes and be like, I want Reno to have purple tap shoes and I want this to look like this and I want them to move there on this time.
right.
But when you're working with a playwright and a new play, your job really is just to be a siphon for those ideas. Your job is not to change what the playwright is saying with their piece. Your job is not to force your own ideas and expectations onto it. Your job is to make the people who come see it understand it, is to make it accessible and digestible to the people who are going to come see it. Like
Mm,
a lot of the times playwrights will put things in like their stage directions that are like not really things that can happen. Like let's say like Michael starts falling up. Like what does that look like? Just very vague things like
yeah.
that I think a lot of the times directors don't have enough fun with and directors don't think hard enough about. And I think those are really the types of questions and the challenges that are our job in the room. Like
Yeah.
the playwright has this big dream and this big image that they wrote about, and it's our job to make it into real life actions and real life things that can happen
Mm,
versus like saying, oh, well, I don't like this line. I think you should change this line. And I think you should have this person on stage more. Like,
mm,
those types of things really are not our decision. And obviously, it depends on the specific relationship between the playwright and the director because like there have been times when I was in high school collaborating with different people, like they wanted those types of things. They were like, and please give me notes on like if this sounds awkward or like
yeah.
if there's anything you sense about this scene that is vaguely off. Please just let me know. And I think that's something you can do if someone asks for it, if a playwright says that is a need that they have. But other than that, really a director should be a siphon in the room and not a dictator.
Mm, boom.
Boom.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mic drop, except fake.
This is an audio format, and so MK did a visual gag. It was very good, and I wish you could have seen it.
Except it will remain our actor's secret for today.
Yay.
Yay.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
So, MK, this is a question I ask everybody on the podcast
Okay.
because I think it gives me everything I need to know about a person because it's the first thing that comes to your head.
Mhm.
What's your favorite movie? What was the first thing that came to your mind? You're looking at me with a wide-eyed stare, but I know there was something.
It was the SpongeBob movie.
Boom! There it is.
So
That's your favorite
that
movie.
and I
You're
it has
also
nothing to do with the fact that I'm
you're doing
choreographing
SpongeBob
SpongeBob
right
right
now.
now,
Yeah,
but I think that because it is
the animated one, the original.
yes, the original
Yes.
one with King Neptune's crown.
Oh,
It is I had it on those neon orange VHS tapes that Nickelodeon used to release. And I'm pretty sure I played through it enough times that it actually burned out. It is a movie that I don't need the script in front of me. I can quote, if not every line, every other line.
yes.
I was really obsessed with SpongeBob as a kid. I think that it's the perfect hero's journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that SpongeBob is the perfect hero to root for. You
Aw.
can't not root for SpongeBob. He is earnest, he is honest, he is very brave, which as a kid, I actually, as a very nervous kid, was very inspired by SpongeBob's bravery in the face of like all of the random animation crap that came his way. And yeah, and I think that specifically for the movie, like the storytelling is it has a lot of heart.
Mm.
And I think the people that worked on that show or that movie really, really cared about it and wanted to make it as good as it can be because even because I watched this movie as a 7-year-old, I've watched this movie as a 14-year-old, I've watched this movie as a 23-year-old that I am now, like it still hits.
It does.
It's still entertaining. It's
Yeah.
still funny. It's still endearing. It's still like moves me to be emotional sometimes. Like even with
Yeah.
the like I don't know, like I'm a goofy. You know when they're on the drying rack, and that's like the
goober.
tear with
Yeah.
the heart. Yeah, exactly. You're a goofy
Ugh.
goober. Yeah.
It's also like a pure friendship movie.
Yes.
Like it is unafraid to truly uplift a duo, like a friendship that is so important and
Yeah.
pivotal to both of their characters, Patrick
Yeah.
and SpongeBob, and so pivotal to the story and their development.
Yeah.
And like great stories have great friendships.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's something about that movie that honestly I don't think I've thought about before until you said that is that neither one of them could have made it alone.
No.
Like even
No.
though Patrick is like I don't know, sometimes can be portrayed as stupid or like
Yeah.
that type of guy. There are moments in there that SpongeBob wouldn't have made it without Patrick. Now,
Nope.
obviously, there are moments where Patrick wouldn't have made it without SpongeBob, but just in the way that they're yes, opposites in the best of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Opposites in a way that balance each other out, and in a way that like they genuinely show up for each other. Like when he doesn't get the promotion and they're sitting in Goofy Goober's ice cream party boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Eating ice cream.
eating ice cream. Oh, waiter. But they show up for each other. They are totally loyal and committed to each other. And I think that specifically as a kid, that was something that I was yearning for because I had a long series of best friends that liked me really intensely for a while and then would just like dump me.
Damn.
And I think that's a pretty common experience among specifically neurodivergent girls because people get sick of us. We're very intriguing, but we get to be a lot after a while. We get to be like people get closer to us and realize maybe we're not as normal as some people think.
I see.
And so it was a series of like 4 or 5 best friends from like 5th grade to really like end of high school that would just like dump me very systematically. And being able to see an example of friendship that was unconditional.
Especially with a character like SpongeBob.
Yeah, with a character who's a
Yeah.
dork.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what I was bullied about is because I was socially awkward. Like as an autistic woman, it is very hard to assimilate to what a lot of like middle schoolers want you to assimilate to.
Yeah.
And so I think it was just a really good example of good true friendship that I really needed at that moment in time.
Yeah.
And that I still appreciate. And it's also just fun.
Yeah, it's just a fun movie.
Yeah, it's fun, it's colorful.
It's funny.
It's funny, it's quotable. It's something that everyone basically has seen. Like I will be hard pressed to find one of my friends who hasn't seen the SpongeBob movie. So when I say things that reference it, they will always get it, and then a conversation can always start about that movie.
Yeah.
You don't need a license to drive a sandwich.
Literally.
That's my favorite one.
Ugh. Excellent. Oh,
Yeah.
good pick.
Thank you. It was really immediate. It really just came from the heart.
Which is why it's your favorite movie and why I ask this question. Go watch the SpongeBob movie, the first one.
The first one, not the Sponge Out of Water.
Not any
BS.
of the others. Any of the others are bad. Watch the new. No, not dang. Watch the old one. If you haven't seen it before, now's your chance.
Yeah, and please, don't approach it as a meme. Approach it as a story, like a Grecian hero's tale, and you will be so satisfied by it.
Ugh, awesome. I gotta rewatch it.
Yes.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so we talked a lot about, the art you love to make and collaboration and, what is keeping you grounded here in Philadelphia. What I want to talk about a little bit is what your future looks like right now.
Yee!
What's coming up, what you're excited about, what you want to make, the next few years, next year of MK artistically. What does that look like for people out there listening?
Well, yeah. I have a few things on the docket coming up that are things that are in writing that I'm very excited about. I, of course, am co-choreographing and assistant choreographing rather SpongeBob at Neshaminy High School Summer Stock. So if any of you want to come see SpongeBob,
see some kids do some
come
SpongeBob.
see some kids do some SpongeBob. They're really talented, really just hardworking kids. I have my Philadelphia Fringe directorial debut coming up.
Woo!
I am super excited about it. It really just kind of fell into my plans this past week and a half. I'm directing Acute Exposure through Lemonade Stand Philadelphia. We have auditions coming up if this is edited and posted by then, which probably not, maybe.
Who knows?
July 7th.
Yeah, definitely
no,
not.
definitely not. But you should come see it because we have shows starting at the end of September. We have 6 shows. It's going to be at the Skinner Studio at Plays and Players. It's a really cool play about these 2 girls who go to high school and they live next to each other, and they have a nuclear waste site in their town, kind of in their backyard. And it's focuses a lot on their relationship, and specifically the notion of trying to design anti-nuclear architecture, like something that is a sign for humans in 10,000 years who don't maybe use written language, people who don't read English or any of the languages that we have on Earth right now.
Yeah.
How do you create something that tells humans in the future that this place is dangerous? This place is not to be trespassed upon.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's kind of those 2 storylines of the creation of the anti-nuclear architecture and their relationship growing. It's very intermingled. It's a really lovely, perhaps 90-minute piece. Of course, I've only read it in my brain at this point, but I'm incredibly, incredibly excited about that. It's one of the most beautiful pieces of theater I've read in a long time. It's a new play by a local Philadelphia playwright named August Hochvog. I think that is how you pronounce their last name. So if you're listening to this, shout out. I'm very excited to work with you. Beyond the things that are like actually in stone, God, there's so much I want to do. I'm constantly and unfortunately inspired by the current political state of our country to create pieces and to be a part of the creation of pieces that will help us get through right now.
Yeah.
That is going to be written about in history books. It is going to be seen as an incredibly dark stain on the face of this country. I like to think back to the Greeks who literally used theater in times of war. They did not go to the theater to get an escape from what was going on. They went to theater so they could start community discussions about what was going on and how to work through it and how to come together as a community and face these challenges. So looking for a lot of work like that. It's, I will say, incredibly hard to get directing gigs as a 23-year-old woman because a lot of the gigs are reserved for people who already know people who are old white men, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that's not stopping me. I have been reaching out to a lot of local Philadelphia theater companies. I've been reaching out to a lot of my friends to just see what we want to get together and create, because I think that following that impulse is really important, especially right now as we're told to put away all of our impulses and just obey whatever is going on like above us governmentally.
Yeah.
Um I really have dreams of doing a production of Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812
Uh,
set in a post-war United States where the war on queer people has been escalated.
oh,
So it
wow.
takes place in like an underground nightclub where kind of like a speakeasy, but for being gay, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Whoa.
So if anyone out there is listening
Oh my
and
God.
wants to produce that, just let me know.
Please, please, someone do that.
But yeah, I think that other than that, I've been really wanting to just go where life takes me, because I think because I was a performer for a very long time and I was only a performer and that's what I did. And I relied on other people casting me to tell me when I can and can't create art,
Mm.
which I'm so glad I'm out of as a mainly director right now. But I want to start a theater company someday very badly.
Yes.
I think that I mean
Yes.
I had like this a semblance of one as we were leaving school, but UArt's closing kind of effed everything up.
Mm.
But I want to start a theater company so I can do these things like create art with my friends that they're really passionate about, that I'm really passionate about, like so I can curate seasons to fit the community that I'm presenting it in.
Yeah.
Because far too often I see people producing plays, eh, and I can't help but think of, why are you doing that?
Right.
Like what is the point of mounting 42nd Street for the millionth time in this city when there are people dying, Kim. Like, oh my god. There is
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
there are more important stories to be told right now. And I'm really like just wanting to create a space where what's important to me and the people around me can be discussed and can be thought through in a theatrical way and
Yep.
presented to a community into a community that's going to take it and that's going to have like a measurable impact from it. Like something that I would like to do with the theater company that I theoretically would start one day is having some kind of like survey system, reaching out to people after they've
Mm.
seen the show, being like, and how often have you thought about this play? Like in the last 2 weeks, in the last month since you've seen it, are there anything that has changed about you or the way that you go about life after seeing this play? Because I think that it is incredibly important to put that kind of thought into the work that you're doing so it actually means something, and so it's not just a bunch of people getting together and spending money to watch people tap dance. Not that that's not worth anything,
Of
but that's
course.
just not for me.
Right.
Yeah,
You should start that theater company.
I think I will.
You should do it.
I will.
Make it happen.
If money weren't a thing,
uh,
which God, I think about that every day. If money didn't exist, the shows that we would have done together at this point already would have been
yeah.
the list would have been a mile long.
I mean, hey, you can take notes from people like Lemonade Stand
So
and
true.
people like Theater by Development. Like
Yeah.
these incredible companies right now. My mother once read
Mhm.
small groups that are just people trying to make art with people in their community.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much money they have. I don't think a lot.
Probably not.
And they're still making stuff.
And they're still doing it, and they all seem so happy and fulfilled doing it.
Yep.
Like that's the difference between like some of the people that I know that are like getting up at 4 a.m. and are living in New York and are going to these non-equity calls and are doing the like New York actor hustle versus the people who are starting these smaller companies, people who are creating the art that they want to. They just have so much more light behind their eyes.
Yeah.
They're more apt to come up with their own ideas. They're more intrigued by the pieces that they're working on simply because it's what they want to do and not something they're being told to do.
Mm-hmm. Yay. Well, keep your eye out,
Yeah.
everybody, because that'll be some really cool stuff coming up.
Yeah, we got lots of stuff coming up.
And if you want MK to be a director,
please just let me know. I am heavily
Hire them!
available.
Hire
Heavily
them!
available.
Oh, lovely. With that, idea of impacting those who see your work and seeing either visible or vocal change in how they carry themselves in that moment. How do you want to be remembered? What is legacy to you right now when it comes to making art and the longevity that could remain?
Yeah. I mean, I've never really thought about personal legacy, more about like the kind of widespread tendrils that can happen when someone sees a show that you produce and there is actual like measurable change in their life, like people who saw Fun Home and then came out to their parents and things like that. Like that has solidified my legacy already. Someone has come into the way that they present themselves and has shown this part of them to people in their life that didn't know that existed within them before. And I think that even if it was just that one person, like that could be my legacy, because it's going to change things about their relationship with their parents, their relationship with their kids, their grandkids. Like it's going to have this really widespread effect just because of that one decision that one person made.
Yeah.
So I think it's more about legacy of like the good things that can come out of people seeing work that I have a hand in versus like remembering my name. Like of course I have dreams of like winning a Tony or being having a Tony for best director or something like that. But I don't think that even like having a Tony for best director of a play or something like that's not going to solidify my legacy as intensely as people who are impacted by the things that I am trying to say with my art, and then changing the way that they go about their lives and that they interact with people, because like that is really unmeasurable in a lot of ways. Like it's less so about like my name and what I do being remembered versus like personal implication of lessons and ideas brought about by my art. Boom.
Yeah.
I figured it out. That's a sentence.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. The art, and I really try to decentralize myself from the art that I have a hand in creating. Like I've been trying really hard not to say my art versus like our art or my show versus our show.
Yeah.
Because I truly don't think any one person, even in like a dictator director relationship with the rest of the team, no one can take single ownership over any piece of theater because there are so many bodies and brains that go into making it. But yeah, I also just like when it comes to personal legacy versus like art legacy, I really just want to be remembered as someone who was kind. I think that's where a lot of my energy goes to. I also think I want to be remembered as someone who was a helper. I really enjoy being a helper and seeing other people thrive because I was able to present them with a solution or an idea, or like they were able to take something even just from like one of my shows and implement it in something that they did or made a personal choice about. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're doing a good job.
Thank you. I try really hard. And like not everyone is kind all the time. I'm not kind all the time, but
nobody can be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially in this economy.
In this economy.
In this economy.
So true.
But yeah. Ugh. Art is such a good way to solidify non-personal legacy, like non-name bound, image bound legacy.
Effect.
Like, yeah. It's like a quiet legacy. Like there are people whose entire lives have been changed and the course of their life has changed because they saw a piece of work that I had a hand in. And that is the biggest thing I could ever ask for. That's it. W indeed. Fortnite win. Battle Royale.
Battle Royale in my artistic endeavors.
Exactly.
Well, I think that just about wraps up our conversation.
Yay! Yay!
Okay,
Well, thank you for
this.
having me. This has been so fun.
Absolutely.
I love to yap.
I was really excited about this one, so this is great.
I woke up this morning and I didn't even need caffeine. I woke up and I said, "Ha! It's
Yeah.
podcast day.
Yes,
I get to talk."
we get to talk. We had a lovely conversation.
We did.
That was great. Before you go, I need two things.
Okay.
One, I want this podcast to live on. I want to keep making it. I want to talk to as many people here as possible.
Yeah.
So I'd love a recommendation. Give me somebody to talk to.
Oh, absolutely.
Who do you think would make a good episode? I didn't have to shorten episode.
A good ep. Oh, wow. That's a big question.
Nate recommended you, by the way.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I guess you'll hear it in Nate's episode, but yeah, he
I'm gonna recommend actually my co-choreographer / like main choreographer for SpongeBob, Katie Cherkasky.
Boom.
I think
Cool.
that she's someone who I've known since our wee days at the Performing Arts High School together in Maine, but has now blossomed into such an incredible choreographer. Have you had a choreographer on here yet?
No.
That would be exciting.
It would. I plan to. I've been wanting more dance-focused artists on here, so that would be
She is an amazing one to bring on. She has such a unique view on specifically the process of creating choreography that I've learned so much from her, even through the month and a half of us working on SpongeBob together before rehearsals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, I'll get in contact.
Yeah.
And we'll make it happen. There
was a second question.
Yes, the second question is, I guess it's more of a request. Where can people find you?
Oh my God. mk.prophett on Instagram. And mkprophett.com is in the works. It's open on my laptop at home right now. I'm going to hit publish probably before this podcast comes out. That gives me a deadline.
Yay.
So mkprophett.com. YouTube at McKayla Prophett, spelled McKayla And you can find me walking the streets of Broad Street somewhere most of the time.
Yay.
Catch me on North Broad Street most of the time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
What would be the best way to contact you?
Oh, contact me. Email is a really important one there.
Cool.
mkprophett@gmail.com. And
there it is.
I probably shouldn't put my phone number out there because even though it's called Philly Phone Book.
Nope. It's more of a turn of phrase rather than me
a
giving
literal
out phone numbers. Yeah. That's not in good practice there.
Exactly.
But everything that MK just shared will be in the description of this episode, as well as our contact sheet that we have for the podcast. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, MK. This was so fun.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. And thank you for holding the space for artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're important.
You're important.
You're important.
We're both important.
We're both important. All right. And you're important.
Thanks for listening.
The listener. There it is.
Thanks to viewers like you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day listening to us chat. It means a lot. Hopefully you learned some stuff, met one of my friends, and share this podcast around, share it with your neighbor, share it with your art makers, and give us a like and a review on anywhere you're listening to it on. That's really helpful for the podcast moving forward. And we have a newsletter. So if you want to hop on that, that's also a thing. It should be in the bio of this if you want to check that out. And yeah, thank you so much. This was another episode of the Philly Phone Book, a podcast archive. I was your host, Gideon Carroll McDonald. Real art is made by real people. Thank your SEPTA drivers, and have a great day. Bye.